Hello, Captain Kittles, Oliver Jose, Yodoshku. Back in the Crisis Corner, in the movie corner of the Crisis Corner. And I should, at this time, be giving you a review of my impressions on Thor Love and Thunder. But I'm not, because I realize that I don't want to see Thor Love and Thunder. At least I don't want to pay money in the movie theater to see Thor Love and Thunder. Now, I mean, it's my prerogative, whatever. But the reason being that Marvel is slipping. The cinematic universe is slipping. The phase that they're in right now is not creative. It's not inspired, is a better word to use. And I'm not going to give them money for uninspired work. Um, I, and it's weird because I went through YouTube, got all the spoilers on Thor Love and Thunder because I knew it didn't matter to me whether I was spoiled or not. I just wanted to confirm that the film is what I thought it would be. And from all the spoiler reviews that I looked at, it's a laugh fest. It's a joke, just like Ragnarok was a joke, and I didn't like Ragnarok. I didn't. I mean, in retrospect, maybe it was better than I thought it was when I initially saw it in the theaters, but it wasn't. It was just a joke. And Thor's become a joke. Therefore, I mean, I'm not paying money to go see Tika Waititi, you know, do that again. You know what I'm saying? So I'll wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. I don't care how much money it makes in the theaters. And if you like it, that's fine. I mean, if that's your kind of thing, I'm not even saying that Ragnarok was a bad movie. It just wasn't. It wasn't for me. It was stupid. Okay, it was stupid. That's one of my impressions. I ain't even sugarcoat it. It was stupid. But my main thing is being this. It's this Marvel Cinematic Universe is not inspired anymore. And, you know, San Diego Comic Con just came out and they ran down their list of this phase and what's coming out in phases 5, 6, and 7. It's like looking at a McDonald's, menu. You know what I'm saying? It's just burgers and fries. You know what I mean? They're not making anything. They're not trying. They're not being inspired. And when you go back and look at the different phases 1 through 3, I will give them all the credit in the world for because they did something that had never been done before. They did something the comic book fans respected. They took a mega event and brought it to life. They took a multiple uh, comic fans know that if you do an event with a bunch of tie-ins, you're going to get tie-ins from different uh, uh, individual comics like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, whatever. You carry this event through all of these individual titles until you get to the grand finale, which is in this case was Endgame. And they did that. They brought it to life. They brought a comic book event to life, and I will eternally give them credit for that. Ironically, the comic book event is what drove me out of American comics to manga because I got sick of it. But the fact that they pulled it off with live action, I was impressed and I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if they could actually pull it off, and they did. And they did a great job of it because initially it looked like they were inspired to tell stories. Go through the phases. Phase 1, you had Cap, Iron Man, even Hulk, people, may have been shaking on Hulk. I thought it was good. Okay, you had Thor. The first Thor I thought was awesome. You know what I'm saying? You had what was in phase 1? Okay, yeah. Iron Man, 2 Iron Mans. The second Iron Man was good, still good. I didn't think it was as good as the first, but it was still good. Captain America, and then you had Avengers. I mean, come on, how many Avengers? I mean, that's what it was, you know. So that was awesome, and it was inspired, and it was inspiring. Okay, Phase Two, Iron Man 3, it was okay. It was okay. The streaming stuff, but it was okay. Dark World Thor, still better than me. I'd rather watch that than watch Ragnarok, but you know, that's me. Winter Soldier. First of all, Captain America carried the entire first three phases. The Captain America series carried the whole thing. To be honest with you, but whatever. That's my impression. Anyway, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Then you got Guardians of the Galaxies. They pulled one off, inspired. Who saw that coming? Honestly, none of these characters, just to backtrack a little bit, none of these were characters that were on the top of everybody's absolute favorite list. Like it wasn't like iconic stuff like Superman, Batman, whatever. These were like not of that caliber of characters. Even within Marvel, Iron Man's even considered niche within Marvel, but whatever. But they were inspired. They were inspired with their casting, they were inspired with their storytelling, and it made it work. So Phase Two, like I said, Winter Soldier was one of the greatest comic book inspired films of all time. Period. So it's on the rise. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said, out of nowhere, boom, inspired. Age of Ultron. Again, not as good as Avengers, but still it had its merits. I don't hate the movie. It's just some stuff about it that was just a little bit, but I think they were inspired. They were trying. I would have done it that way, but so be it. And then Ant-Man. Ant-Man was good. Quality, solid story. All right. Phase 3 brings it all together. I mean, you got two Spider-Mans. You got the Far From Home, and I guess Homecoming and Far From Home were in the same phase. Civil War, Black Panther, the Infinity War, and Endgame. Some of the other stuff was kind of fluff, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Did you really need that? Probably not. Ragnarok, I openly detest that. Um, Captain Marvel was so meh, and even Guardians 2 slid a bit, but it had its merits. Okay, so at this point, I think they peaked, obviously. So by the time we get to Phase 4, what are we looking at? Well, first of all, you're supporting the streaming service, so you're not really, it's not really even the inspiration of telling the initial story, because Phase 1 through 3 was actually telling a story. Now, of course, they pick up a different story or a different bad guy now that Thanos is gone, so they pick Kang. Okay, so now actually you're just repeating the same process, which again, this goes down to the McDonald's analogy. They're just making burgers and fries at this point. They're not even inspired. So Hawkeye, Black Widow should have been in Phase 3, but whatever, they carried it over. I mean, look at Phase 4, Shang-Chi, forgettable. WandaVision was 3/4 of a good story and kind of fell apart at the end. Hawkeye, like I said, was irrelevant. Eternal should have been relevant, and it should have been on Disney Plus, but it should have been a series, but they messed up and turned it into a movie, and it sucked. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was pretty okay, but then they started preaching, and that was the end of that. So like I said, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Thor: Love and Thunder, which I haven't seen yet, so I can't say, but I got a pretty good idea what it is, whatever. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, apparently nobody's really satisfied with it. I think What If had merits, but again, What If has its merits. I'll leave it at that. but there's no thread that's really holding this together. Oh, Loki, I forgot about Loki. Which to me, Loki was just absolutely another one. I openly detest Loki because they took a character that was well put together, a villain, a true. You had a villain, even if you want to say he was a misunderstood villain or whatever, but you had a good villain, and you. First of all, it wasn't even his show. This is the She Loki show. Or what's I forget what the name is. Name don't even matter to me for real. But what's her name? Susie, Elsie, whatever her name was. It was more about her than it was about him, and he got defanged and just he's nothing at this point. Loki is nothing. Just the whole this phase so far is milk toast. It's nothing. It's just work for the sake of work. There's no inspiration to it. You're just supporting a streaming service and making movies on the side, and trying to make something of it and failing, as far as I can tell. Easter eggs and name drops. That's all this. I mean, it started in the first three phases, but it wasn't as pronounced because they were going somewhere. They were going to Infinity War. You know, it was leading somewhere. This is leading, I guess, to Kang. I mean, yeah, and the Kang dynasty and all of that stuff. But it just feels flat. Now you don't have Cap. You don't have. Sadly, you don't have Black Panther. You don't have Iron Man. The heavy hitters are gone. Thor's left, but he's a joke. Hulk is a joke. Oh man, She-Hulk. That's when I was counting on, but just from what I've seen so far of the trailers, it just ain't gonna work. It might not work. I hope it does, because I was a big fan of John Byrne's She-Hulk. All I'm saying is Marvel has to do better. They have to do better. They can do better than what they're doing. What they're doing right now is just making money and supporting the streaming service. But I don't get the impression that they're inspired. I hope when they get to the Fantastic Four, they're inspired. I hope when they get to the X-Men, they're inspired. But if it's all just has to fit into this box that leads to Kang, this event, without telling the stories of the individual characters, like Cap, we got Cap's story arc and Infinity War. Okay. Iron Man had a story arc. We at least it wasn't just biding time until the end of the till you get to the end, the payoff of the event. You know, Spider Man has an arc. You know, um, but you know, some of this stuff I don't care about Hawkeye. I mean, I wanted to see a story about Hawkeye, because he's underexplored. But then we just got his replacement, and that's the end of that. Black Widow would have been nice in the first three phases as a cap off to uh, the Infinity stuff. Eternals just doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe they'll find some kind of way to make it fit in. But you know, I don't really care about it. You know, I think there's a good story there, but I just don't care. Shang-Chi, I wanted that one to work too. If they could have, if well, they doomed themselves when they did the 10 bracelets instead of the 10 rings, but maybe there's still hope for that. It might work. They might rally. They might rally on that one. I don't know where they're going with Doctor Strange. Thor, like I said, is a joke. And the next phase is I'm just waiting for Fantastic Four and X Men. But I know they're gonna screw that up. I just got the sick feeling that they're gonna screw that up. But they have to do better. You can't expect people to run through the theaters just on your name. I mean, yeah, McDonald's is McDonald's and they make money, you know what I mean? But you could do better than that. You know what I mean? It's and then once people start realizing that this is all you're going to give us, then they might just start tuning out. That's I don't even say it's my fear because I got other stuff to do anyway. But I don't want Loki Part 2. I don't want So I don't want Echo, you know. And then they're dragging Daredevil into this. My goodness, I can't. I shudder to think what they're gonna do there. Oh, I mean, leave the Netflix guys alone. Don't drag them into this. They stand on their own merits. Um, I do want She-Hulk to work, but I got my fears. I don't know. Marvel has to do better. They got to step up. I'm just like my man said. You can do better. You can do better. You got to step up. And they have to. Otherwise, I'm done, man. I can go. I'm gonna switch over. Not switch over. I was really, watching the DC stuff anyway, but I just ignore this and go about my business. Cancel the streaming service and forget it ever happened. But I'm gonna give them a chance. I mean, look, I'm gonna give them a chance. I just hope they do better. This is just me venting. I'm trying to get this off of my chest. I mean, maybe Secret Wars is going to be something. I mean, and this thing is fractured too. They're going Secret Wars. They're going Kang Dynasty. They're going this. They're going this. There's no connecting thing thread holding it together like the Infinity Saga. You know, if this is the multiverse saga, even in saying that, you're being pulled in too many directions. You know what I mean? This thing's gonna crumble under its own weight. That's my fear. Maybe Feige's got his ego's gotten too big for his imagination or something, but it's a mess. So far, to me, it's a mess. There are elements of this stuff that could work, and there's elements in here. There's like bits and pieces that if you could pull it together, it would be fine. You know what I mean? But Thor is done. And matter of fact, just forget Thor and just stop that. You know, if yeah, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, am I wrong? Am I telling the truth? Am I lying? I don't know. But I don't want the characters that they're pushing at this point. I got a review on what you call them, Miss Marvel, which I actually enjoyed. You know, Miss Marvel. I got issues with it, but I actually enjoyed it for the most part. But it's kind of innocuous, you know what I mean? It's not nothing that's I'm mad about, like I'm really terribly interested in. But I did I enjoyed it to a degree. Do I want a season two? Uh, Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. My overall, to just tie it up, they are not inspired to tell stories. They're inspired to keep their streaming service going, and it doesn't look terribly organized or purposeful. It's just work at this point. It's not inspiration. It's just, and even if it's craftsmanship, the craftsmanship is not even that good. So I'd rather you be inspired and just throw out good stories. You don't even got to do the whole, end game thing anymore. Just tell stories. Let it go. Get some great directors, some great writers, put them together and let it go. You know, yeah, just tell stories. Tell excellent stories. Tell Fantastic Four stories. Bring in new characters, true. I don't care. But just tell stories about them. Don't do the big build up thing again. Because if it takes another 5, 10 years, man, I'm checked out. I'm done. Anyway, let me know what you think. And until next time, I'll be back with the Miss Marvel review again, which I kind of like. And until next time, stay loose.